This is the work that the Southern Sudanese have been working for all their life. This is the work that the Southern Sudanese walk from Southern Sudan to Ethiopia, to Eritrea, to Kenya, Uganda, to Central African Republic on foot, day and night, hundreds of thousands of miles, walking, asking for freedom, walking for get safety in wherever that they can find it. And that walk is going to be determined. It's going to be determined January 9, 2011, when they are going to vote whether they want to go back to Islamization and Arabization, or they're going to go free. And believe it or not, as a free man, I don't want my grandson to go back to enslavement. I don't want my grandson to go back to Islamization and Arabization. I want them to go free because I love freedom, because I already test freedom. Now, freedom should not be denied. I'm asking President Obama to ensure the referendum have to go according to the day. The referendum had to go and smoothly, and then let work or transition between the two nations tomorrow. And I want President Obama and American government to recognize a nation to be born after the result will come out. And we want the positions of the United States to be clear by the Khartoum government that when we sign that peace agreement, we mean it. When we sign this peace agreement, we don't want anybody to tamper, because our leadership will be in question. Our leadership will be respect tomorrow. And that's why I did this work.
Heather Robinson with Andrew Breitbart's Big Piece. I'm here with Simon Deng, who has just walked 300 miles from the United Nations in Manhattan to the Capitol building here in D.C. Simon Deng, escaped slave from Sudan, former champion swimmer, human rights advocate. Simon, can you tell me why you've come this 300 miles over the past several weeks?
I came 300 miles from New York City all the way to our nation capitals to come and free my cry and my tears to our elected official here in our nation capital. As an Americans, today, as a free man, I have to come and tell them that the freedom that I'm enjoying today in this country as an American citizen is not being enjoyed by my peoples back home in a place where I was born in Southern Sudan. Their freedom is being taken away by the Islamic government of Khartoum for 55 years.
Thanks, Simon. And just to give viewers a little context, this Khartoum government, the government in the north, which now is ruling Sudan, is the same government that sheltered bin Laden in the 1990s, correct? The same government that perpetrated the Darfur genocide, and that you tell me has been perpetrating atrocities against your people, the Christians of Southern Sudan, since the 1950s at least. Why do you think that so many more people are aware of the Darfur genocide, and comparatively few people are aware of what the Southern Sudanese Christians and others have suffered?
Well, this is what I call double standards in the world. And there is always double standards when it comes to the world. Yes, of course, we are glad to see the world that now is stepping up and denouncing what happened in Darfur by the real name as a genocide. What happened in Southern Sudan was not being recognized because Khartoum betrayed that this is a war against the infidel. They use the Islam as a scapegoat. They use the Islam to make a cover that they're fighting in the name of Islam. Since the Islam is being put forward, then nobody in the West have an audacity, nobody in the West have a gut even to question, because you don't want yourself to be called anti-Islam, and you don't want to be called a person who is against Islam. And because of that, 3.5 million Southern Sudanese perished. 7 million Southern Sudanese was left as refugees. Some of them end up in this country as lost boys and lost girls. These are those who lost their loved one. Because of the name of Islam, the government of Khartoum got away with enslaving hundreds of thousands Southern Sudanese, where even to the point that the UN went and made a report that you can buy a human being in Sudan for $10. It was UNICEF. UNICEF is part of the United Do Nothing Nation. UNICEF is part of the UN, and the UN got embarrassed and they even asked the UNICEF to withdraw their statement. To me, I always said, it is not the statement need to be withdrawn. The slavery is to need to be withdrawn. It is not the statement need to be withdrawn. The genocide in the South need to be withdrawn. The genocide, the slaughterment of the Africans, Southern Sudanese Christian is the one need to be stopped. And nobody have a gut to stand up. And today we are on a final road. Freedom is just close. Let's just do good thing for one time. If we really look at ourselves and uphold the freedom is a good thing to all of us. Southern Sudan, they are not asking anything that beyond that. They're asking us, support us to finish the journey that we started in 1955.
Simon, you were enslaved as a boy in the 1960s, a Christian as you are. Are there Christians still being enslaved in Sudan by the Islamist government? And is that something that will be on the agenda in January as part of the referendum to deal with that?
Enslavement of the Africans in Sudan is still going on. It is part of the Khartoum government to them, because to enslave the black person to them is not a crime. To enslave a black woman and a child is not a crime. To them, a black person by nature is an habit, which is a slaves. And this is where we're saying the over and over. Look at what we've gone through. Look at what happened to us. Yes, the issue of slavery is probably not on the agenda. What is on the agenda? Southern Sudanese just need one thing: freedom.